Rach. Rach David, yes, Rach David. Rach, I'll put you in. Let's interview Rach. Okay, you're there. So,
Yes.
Rach,
Hello,
yeah,
Fabio. Hi, Celia. Good
we
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Rach is a part of our Connected Women community. I
Yeah.
met her in one of our She Means business meetup with Connected Women, and yeah, see, this is what I'm saying about having a community. You don't know someone, or you just see them online, and then there's a face already offline. You meet them, you create
Mm,
connection, and at the end of the day, you see that there's a similar vision or a similar like
yeah.
heart for helping. And we would like Rach to talk about Bounce Back PH, because this is a movement, a global movement actually, that is helping Filipinos and people around to cope up or to bounce back to the new normal, like what we called it. And this is, practical, really helping one another. The last time I was messaging Rach, I was asking for a connection because LGU wants an
Yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
for so Rach. Let me just introduce Rach first. Rach is a work from home netpreneur who has 20 years of experience in leverage marketing, have traveled to over 25 countries in the past 2 decades, and as a global entrepreneur and a practitioner of LOAA, is this law of attraction? Yeah, all the
Yes.
that's why Dennis Rately, we're still
Yeah.
waiting for you because Dennis Rately is we cannot connect with him right now, but we will get back to Dennis. And Rach is also volunteer head of Bounce Back Global Movement, helping matching suppliers and market demands during the COVID-19 pandemic. She's also an active member of Connected Women, supporting women's role in remote work. So, in a while, we're going to talk to Jason. Jason also will be with us, but let's talk about how you started Bounce Back first, Rach. Tell me, if you can tell the audience, and also me,
Mm,
Fabi, we're community builders also,
yeah.
how this Bounce Back PH started.
Yeah. So first of all, I would just like to thank you, no, Celia and
Or,
Fabio, for
yeah.
giving me the opportunity to be part of this Freedom Summit. And happy Independence Day to everyone who's watching right now, everywhere in the world. Good afternoon to all of you. Well, actually, I was that was around March, no, of this year, during the onset of the pandemic. So I saw that Jason posted it on Facebook that he was thinking of organizing a community. And I have known Jason since like 4 years ago from other business that we were into. And I said, what can I do? Okay. Because, somehow you really have to step up, right? So I am involved with a business that is enabling me to do extra. I have an extra hand to help. That's why when I saw Jason posted in Facebook, I immediately messaged him and I told him, "What can I do to help?" Okay, so he said he's thinking of putting this community that would somehow help with regards to the initially we were thinking of the meeting up or matching up the demand for the PPE to the hospitals or to the LGUs that needs them. Okay, so that was the initial purpose. That's why I got involved with it. Because like I felt like I'm in an industry. I'm in the leverage marketing for a very long time, and since December, I'm doing quite good with what I'm involved with, and actually have spare time, and I have spare money to help people. That's why I stepped up and reached out to Jason. That's actually how it had started. No, itong this bounce back community. Yes.
Cool. So that's the thing. Rach, I just want to ask, how big is a bounce back Philippines now, PH now? How big is the
Right.
community? It started, I think, during the quarantine, right?
Yeah, that was about March 12, no, when it started. And then a lot of people, when Jason created the FB page for Bounce Back Philippines community, uh, people just started to come in. We get a lot of response from different sectors of society, private, and even from the governments. They did step up and help. So I think right now we have more than 140,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Jason can address that later, but as far as I know, we have grown that big already. And it's not just the Philippines. We have expanded even to Asia and abroad. What started just as a small, as a small drive, it already exploded.
Wow, that's great. So now I want to introduce Jason already because he's already here. And let me just introduce Jason because really this bounce back ph is a proof that a community, even if you started it small, but because of your purpose, you have a vision to help, it really will lead you to so many good opportunities to help people. So let me introduce Jason De La Rosa has been an entrepreneur more than 20 years, for more than 20 years, and lived a life cultivating innovation and developing ventures. He's the founder of Bounce Back Global Movement, a group of now 120,000 entrepreneurs, I think more, business owners and professionals, and it is intensified effort to fight COVID-19 crisis. He is also the author of the book The Practical Entrepreneur and the ebook of The Entrepreneur in Crisis. He's an angel investor, founder of several technology and traditional ventures, including health tech, e-commerce, food and beverage, media and technology as well. He is also a mentor of several startups to make sure that they increase their chances of success in entrepreneurship using practical, hard-hitting concepts. Why? Wow, we need some tips from Jason. Other than the fact that we want to thank Kim and Rach and everyone because of the tremendous service that you've been given to the Philippines. Let me welcome Jason on the floor. Hi, Jason.
Hi guys. How are you?
So
Can you help us with how Bounce Back started? Rach already told us a bit of the background, and but what kept you going? And this community is growing really with tons of people trying to help. They want to maximize the potential of this group, and they're trying to put in so many suppliers, so many inquiries. Can you
yes.
please, Jason?
Okay, so actually, I didn't expect this movement to grow like this. It started around March 12th, and just wanted to pull a group of people together to help with the crisis because I was already starting to see a lot of businesses struggling, especially in my own network. So I decided to put it up, but now it has grown to 150,000 members.
Wow.
Actually, that profile was a bit updated because it's
Updated.
really growing every day, and I think it grew that way is because of compassion. I think the kindness and people helping fellow entrepreneurs. That's what made it really grow. So the growth of Bounce Back PH in a way was effortless because really the people were the ones really helping each other during the crisis. We just facilitated everything and gave them resources, gave them learning webinars and everything, so that they could use this knowledge in order to bounce back from the crisis. Yeah.
And the fact that you use that word bounce back, it's very apt though. This is something that we really want to do. Whatever it is that happened to us, we really want to bounce back. Before putting you in, me and Fabio are talking about how to set up or build a community and the importance of having a community that has a purpose and people that trust each other.
Yes.
For
Yes.
bounce back. what is the next plan? Because when you started this, maybe is something that you didn't expect. So what are the future plans of Bounce Back?
Okay, so we are turning it into a formal organization, since we see that the next few months will still be a struggle for a lot of entrepreneurs, and we really need to organize and intensify efforts, gather as many volunteers and people who can help, um, into an organization, and create more programs, and really create an institution for helping. Again, this will always be nonprofit, and we just created a new program called Bounce It Forward. So it's a play on
Movement.
the word, on the phrase, pay it forward. So we call it
Yeah.
Bounce It Forward.
Bounce
So
forward movement.
um, you just go to bounceitforward.org. So it's our way of organizing and sort of create analytics out of people helping each other. So when you log into bounceitforward.org, you can either ask for help. So you can click on ask for help and list down the things you need, or you can help. So if you have the means to help other entrepreneurs bounce back,
Yeah.
then you can just click on that link and then say, okay, I want to help you out. Okay. But the most important thing is we are able to monitor properly how many people the movement or the organization is helping, and how much more can we do in order to um, increase, intensify, or create an impact using using digital, using technology. Okay. So very important in a community is data analytics, because you want to know if you are really making an impact on
Mm.
society. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do.
That's cool. Also, the thing about our summit is for people to digitally transition, and I think having platforms like this, organizations that you can access through the internet without leaving
Mm.
your house, and connecting people, that's very important, and also to be able
Yeah.
to monitor them without really having the problems of logistics, but also making sure that everybody is taken care of, nobody gets left behind. So this is
Right.
what's very important for me. When I tried to invite Rich here, I was like thinking like this is one of the best community that can explain why we're doing what we're doing, because we
Mm.
want people to really cope up and adapt to this new normal. But we cannot do
Right.
that
Right.
without people, trying to help each other. So, Fabio, do you have any questions about bounce back or about our? There are digital entrepreneurs, by the way, because they're also teaching and giving talks. Fabio is my co-founder in Freedom Summit, and Fabio, if you have any questions.
Yeah, I was listening with great interest to what they were saying. I think they found the perfect tool in unfortunate situation, because obviously we have to understand that, as
Mm.
Jason said, we don't exactly know what is going to happen in the months to come, and it will take a little while to recover. But I think that they found the perfect link to put together a cause,
Yeah.
a very useful tool, and also to put people at the center, because I think this is always very important when we try to create a community. It doesn't matter what kind of community. Theirs is very commendable because it's making the difference out there, but it can be applied also to other kinds of communities. When people feel that they are protagonists, that people feel, we have used this expression to make the difference so many times that maybe it makes people feel meaningful to them and to others. I think this is the real secret behind. I don't know, Jason, if you had something to add on it, but I think that the great immense response you had, it didn't only come out of need. Yes, of course, but I think it came out also of the desire of not feeling for others. So I'd like to know what's your take on this.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last question.
Yeah.
I
The
lost you
question
there.
is, I think you found the perfect mix to make people feel at the center of it all,
Yeah.
with a cause and with a challenge at the same time. And maybe this is one of the reasons why your community grew so fast and so large. So people are at the center. Am I understanding correct?
Yes.
Yes, yes, and it boils down to the individual, because I feel that the COVID-19 crisis was a crisis of humanity rather just an ordinary pandemic. Because during this pandemic, this is where people realized, what have I been doing with my life? Why am I not prepared for this crisis? So, because of the lockdown and the quarantine, they had time to think, they had time to meditate on what they really want in this life, in their businesses, right? So we had a lot of shifts in terms of business, like a lot of their high-end dreams of traveling, pitching to investors abroad, all their travel plans, all of them have been stopped or postponed
Halt.
indefinitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
put to a halt. So they had to now think of short-term goals wherein they can protect or survive, protect their families, survive in the short
Yes.
term, forget first the long-term goals. Because if they don't protect themselves individually and their family, then they won't be able to protect their businesses if they don't survive, if they're not able to endure the crisis. And 99% of the Philippine economy are SMEs, small businesses.
Mhm.
And if we don't protect the small, medium sized businesses, then it has a big, major impact on the Philippine economy. So we really have to protect the individuals, center in on the people, focus on compassion, and those who can help those who need assistance in bouncing back from the crisis. And that's the reason. That's the real reason why Bounce Back grew this big, is because we I saw a lot of compassion, a lot of sacrifice made by people, and without that, a community cannot. This community wouldn't have grown this way. Yeah.
I have a further question, and it happens in every community that there are some champions, some people that maybe you never met before, but they become so engaged that they feel that that community really is part of who they are. And so I was
Yes.
wondering if, even in these hard times, you before they've taken upon their shoulders to be an engine of growth in your community and engagement.
Yes. So we have a lot of we the reason also why Bounce Back grew is because of the team that decided to take this on with me. So early on March, after March 12, when we started it, the week after, when it was growing, it was getting difficult for me to manage the community. It was, it's growing, and a lot of people. You have Rich David here, RJ Ledesma, Sam Hakoba. All of them were leaders of their industries in data privacy, in the food and beverage, in business consulting. Um, they decided, okay, I want to participate. How can I help? So we created the group. We made it bigger. Out of their own uh, volunteering effort, they decided to put in some time and some effort. And I believe that beyond the skills, beyond the ability, beyond the network, it's really the you really need to want to help the community grow. And I believe the people who started this with me during the early March, they really had the compassion to really help out the community and help. So right now we were seeing the fruits of their labor. The community is growing, and we got a lot of testimonials about how the group has helped them. We have people right now bouncing back from their businesses because the community helped them by buying their stocks, buying their inventory, which
Mm.
before they had a problem, disposing of their inventory. Now all of their inventory have been sold because of the community. So those are the things we want to see. Those are the things we want to do moving forward with the community.
Yeah, to add to that, Celia, no, the thing is with bounce back community, me being first in the front line before, it's really to exchange of. But going through the testimonies and the experiences that was shared to us, it was really heartwarming. You know, just to read all of those things, it will make you feel you've done a great job being part of the community. That's what makes it exciting.
Yes, really, Rach. I think this is something that we should be proud of because the Bayanihan spirit is there. That's one thing that we saw in this community, and connecting it to the people going to the digital world. It makes life easier if you try to
Yes.
upgrade yourself because some of the business owners right now who's in a still in traditional business are having difficulties now to really move forward because they didn't try to learn. Now they're only
They
trying to
didn't
learn.
anticipate.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't anticipate this. Most of us didn't anticipate this. Most of the people are really, looking for some guidance, and I think that's also the reason why we're here. We're giving mentors and knowing that both of you are also uh, giving advices to people, especially Jason has a book on how to really help people with practical tips. How a lean
Yes.
startup, like we said, this
Mhm.
is the best time to learn and also help the community. So, is there any other thing that you want? Also, how can they be part of this group? And if you can also give us, like the two of you, some tips because we're talking about achieving location, time, and financial independence. And in this crisis, the situation is if you're stuck with your job or your job is needs you to be in a company or you need to travel, this would be a very, very, really a bad time
True.
for you. But
Mhm.
if you upgrade yourself, if you learn how to cope up and learn some of the skills that people are using now and they're enjoying sustainable, lifestyle, can you give us a tip on how we can do this? Because we talked about community and we talked about helping others. Can you give us a tip about this? And really, literally, what is your tip to bounce back? Jason, can you give us your best tips for this
Okay.
situation?
Okay. So, well, I just want to cite an example. In Bounce Back, a month ago we had a program called Repurpose, and we actually trained 40 musicians to learn how to use Shopify as a
Wow.
platform. So repurposing yourself is very important moving forward from this crisis. It means that if you are not able to do your current job because of certain constraints, like no mass gatherings are allowed and everything, because musicians had to rely on gigs in bars and restaurants, but that's not possible, right?
Yeah.
So we handpick people who are skilled in computer, how to use the internet, basic, and then repurpose their skill into becoming adept at other skills like Shopify, and they can now be assistants of those Shopify developers or e-commerce providers, right? And
Good idea.
secondly,
Very good idea.
not just not just repurposing, but also finding another way of delivering your skills or your product. So going back to the same example, I actually booked one of the musicians to teach me guitar online. That means he can now leverage on digital to use the same skill he was using playing gigs in restaurants and in bars, and then deliver it in another way by doing music lessons online. Okay, so two things you can do to fight this crisis is: number one, repurpose, uh, try to do another learn another skill, uh, maybe a digital skill, so that you can get another job. And secondly is try to deliver your product in another way, so that you won't have the restrictions, you won't have the restrictions of what the crisis is giving you right now. For example, restaurants have shifted to deliveries and pickup and using platforms online in order to get orders, right? So that's another way of doing it. But before you do all of that, is you have to make sure that number one is the quick wins, which means think short term, think quick short term battles rather than thinking long term, which means I have to win smaller and faster battles rather than try to win the long war. I mean, the long running war, because everything is so unpredictable. Everything right now is so unexpected that you have to make, you know, your cash flow and your cash position has to be very, very short term. So that means think of ways now to win small and short battles first, instead of trying to look really far ahead, which is nobody knows in this world what's going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
even
And
next.
and if, yes, and if you win small battles, you're able to endure, you're able to re-strategize, you will be able to feel more accomplished, and you'll be able to feel more motivated to go on and fight your next battle, right? So that's my key advice for people who's going to move forward and try to recover from this crisis. So I think Rach, yeah, you have.
Yeah, as for me, actually, I've been in the industry of work from home for like what 10 years in online marketing already. So, um, what's happening right now isn't new to me. I've been doing it for so many years already, and it's also the main reason why I was attracted to the cause of Jason. Is because I have free time, I have extra cash position to be able to help. That's what I stepped up. But moreover is that I represent the area wherein leverage marketing is at. Okay, and this is the best time for people to go into that, to explore this this business or this industry of leverage marketing, because you can practically do the business anywhere in the world. Okay, so it's something that people should also try to look into, as there are a lot of people all over the world who's benefiting and who's earning lots of it. And I always tell people that we are in a crisis proof business, because you're not affected by what's going on around. So that's something that we are teaching. I'm in the education business, actually.
I have a question. I think that given the scale of your organization now, of course, the two of you are pivotal to all, but you need a lot of people around you with many skills. So, can you
Mm.
give us some idea of what's behind the two of you that, of course, are at the center of it all? But once a community grows so much and so fast, you need to add, and you become a real organization, as you were mentioning before, you need a lot more people involved. So what are the kind of professionalities behind this?
As for Jason, Jason has a lot of professionals who's supporting Bounce Back right now. He has a lot of contacts with professional people, and they are also doing volunteer works for us and expanding the network. Right, Jason?
Yeah, so the if you these are actually also business owners and C-level executives. So a lot of them have influence also over in their own industries, um, like industries in the food and beverage, data privacy, digital IT, education. So we try to the team is so diverse that we can actually have a representative in each industry. That is why we've broken up the bounce back group into several industries. Like we have bounce back restaurants, bounce back
Yes.
events, bounce back travel tourism, so that
Jobs and
discussions can
opportunities.
be more focused. Yeah,
Yeah.
discussions can be focused, and industry leaders can lead these groups separately, because we believe we have to localize, we have to be more focused and strategic in helping these industries bounce back, because it's different. It, each industry has a different level of difficulty and struggle, and we don't want to mix them all in one platform.
Yeah.
So it was just recently we decided to break them all up, and we even have a group called Bounce Back OFWs,
FW.
which focus on Filipinos living abroad, who's also deeply affected by the pandemic. Yeah. So we have a very good team behind Bounce Back.
I have a non-technical question, and I understand that here we are always trying to give hints and tips to people, but you are doing something very important to a lot of people. How does that make you feel? Apart from all the headaches and organizational problems and the challenges, at the end of the day, when you go to bed, how do you feel?
I feel fulfilled. I feel like this pandemic has been my most productive 2 months of my life. Uh, yeah, at the start, it felt like a full time job. I'm not making money out of this. I'm not
Yeah.
generating any income from this. And actually, I'm spending money trying to, help people and, building programs and everything. And so the others as well, all the volunteers are also
Mhm.
spending their time as well. So but at the end of the day, I've never felt so fulfilled. This is I think one of the biggest thing I've done in my life. That's what I feel. And I only hope that this movement will really expand and make bigger impact. And we are really talking about it in the back end. We are really creating programs now, not just in the hundreds of thousands, helping hundreds of thousands, but hopefully helping millions in the country. um, and it's a big task, but we're all fired up, and I think the motivation comes not from gaining financially
Yeah.
or gaining anything from this, but
Giving to the
really,
community.
yeah, but really to help everyone bounce back.
What
That's
about
true.
you, Ray? To add anything to it about your personal
Yeah.
feelings on?
Yes. Fabio, looking back now, when it was like first or second week, remember, Jason, I only slept like 5 or 4 hours in a day, answering all of those inquiries and questions in the community group. But looking at it now, it was really fulfilling because you know that you will be able to be part of something, and during this pandemic you're able to do something out of the ordinary that not too many people can actually do, given in the situation. So it's really fulfilling. It's an aha moment.
In the opening of our event, I was exactly talking about this, that these COVID-19 and all the consequences were a tragedy for many, but also were an opportunity for some. And when the opportunity is multiplied for 100,000, and maybe as Jason was saying, for million in the future, is that like the best example that we could give to anyone on how and what you can make out of a challenge, because this was even before, even more so when we had less information about it, but even now it is a major challenge. So not only you did something for yourselves, you stepped up to the plate, but also you were able to make the difference and change the lives of hundreds of thousands. And I really hope that this situation will vanish, but your organization then at that point will be so strong that can go on
Yeah.
and help people
Yes.
in different scenario.
Yeah,
Thank
really,
you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
very inspiring to have the two of you here and to give us an idea of what bounce back is. One of our comments here as gave a link of bounce back PH the Facebook group. So join this
Yes.
group and try to connect with people there. If you need something, if you can provide something, please try to support this group also. And I'm seeing so many cool comments. Like some of them are saying, Jason, what's this? Let me check. Jason, you're our hero.
We have a fans club, Jason.
That's so nice. How this challenge or trials, like what Fabio said, made us more. concern, or we see what we can do and what how we can help our community even more. And like people saying that you're their hero, it really, I feel it's so heartwarming, because even I, even if I'm not Jason, I'm really happy that someone is calling me their hero. And so
Well,
many people.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, actually, when I announce the number of groups, number of members in our group, let's say we reach a milestone, I always say, let's say we've reached 100,000 heroes. That means,
Yeah.
well, I'm not the hero, only hero. Rach is not the only
Yeah.
hero. Everyone really built the community. Everyone's a hero now, and we saw that during this pandemic. And people are gonna continue to become heroes. And I hope that everyone here joins Bounce Back, and then
Yes,
try
be
to
part
help
of the
everyone.
community.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Wait. Um, we would like to thank you for joining us, and for
Thank you.
also giving us a very concrete example of what community should be about. It should be about trust, and you have to have a purpose, a vision, or something that can help others also. Like what's happening right now, everyone is setting up something and having a tribe that helps you thrive and also just to survive.
Yes.
It's really
Yes.
Yes.
something. It's really something, and we really thank you. And if we need to connect with you, how do we connect with Bounce Back? There's a link here. It's Bounce Back PH in
Yep.
Yeah,
Facebook,
that's
right?
true.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
That's the
there's
official.
join
That's
the
the
group.
official
Yeah,
one. Official Facebook group. And you can
yeah,
uh,
also go to bounceitforward.org. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
latest project that we're doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
There,
So
the link is I think scrolling there.
Yeah.
okay.
Bounceitforward.org.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, and for it's a short notice that I asked Rach about
Oo
this.
nga eh, grabe. I was really surprised, but I was really very, very grateful to be part of this summit, of this Freedom Summit, given the chance to be heard. What is Bounce Back PH? To you and Fabio, thank you so much. I would also like to give a shout out to my Crowd One Nation team. Hello guys, thank you for watching, and to all our Bounce Back PH community.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for your
Thank you.
service.
Thank you so much.
We hope we can collaborate with you, and we can
Of
also
course.
help if there's anything Freedom Summit, because one of the things that Freedom Summit do is if there are some activities that can help the community, we're also there. Fabio has a fellowship of Smoky Mountain, that was a recipient of some of our events. So if there's anything, we would really like to be connected with you again.
Yeah.
So thank you, and
Sure.
happy
Anytime.
Independence Day.
Yeah, thank you
You
so
too. Bye-bye.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.